What's going on, guys? Today I want to make a video about the benefits of strength or resistance training, also known as just lifting with weights or machines, the opposite of which would be chronic cardio. I do think that cardio has its place, and there definitely is some benefit if you really do have poor cardiovascular health, if you're training for a race, as a warm-up. But what I do believe is that a lot of people, and again, it seems to be women especially, focus more on chronic cardio. I've seen it before, at the gym where women will run on the treadmill or the stair climber for hours at a time. Sometimes, like literally, I've seen people do it for 2 hours straight, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. The thing to understand is that the more muscle mass you have, the more calories you're going to burn at rest. This goes back to what I said in the last video about your BMR, or your basal metabolic rate. That will go up if you have more muscle mass. And I don't know anyone who this wouldn't appeal to, but the idea of sitting on my butt and burning more calories at rest, it seems pretty appealing, I think, right? I think the biggest concern that people have, and again, it seems to be women, that strength training is going to make them big and bulky and look like a man, and that's just not the case. That's not how it works. You need to have extremely high levels of testosterone, in order to build these brick shithouse type of bodies, right? Women just have a different physiology when it comes to men, okay? Bottom line, that mostly comes down to hormones. You don't need to worry about looking like the Hulk if you lift weights. It is hands down the best way to have a fit, lean body. If your goal is to lose weight, you should be focusing on putting on muscle. I would say bottom line, and I can't really think of any exception to that right now off the top of my head. I mean, individual variants, sure. Again, this goes back to it goes hand in hand with the video that I made before, where people are doing extreme levels of cardio and raising their caloric expenditure so much and not eating nearly enough to compensate for that this deviation between expenditure and consumption is just too great that their metabolism adjusts. It makes much more sense to me to put on more muscle mass, eat in a slight deficit, which is safer for hormone regulation, and just cortisol excretion, all these things. It's just safer overall for your body. There's no quick fix when it comes to weight loss. Being healthy is a lifestyle. It's not, oh shit, it's summer in 2 months, I need a beach body, let me just go crank out 2 hours of cardio 5 days a week. It doesn't work like that. There's a reason why when you look at The Biggest Loser TV show, and a lot of those people, most of those people, put the weight back on because they don't learn healthy mechanics or habits. It's just they get beat into the ground with a chronic cardio and low-calorie diets, and it's starvation. It's literally starvation. And then the other benefits of strength training are just enormous. It's functional. There's a reason why compound movements like squats and deadlifts and bench press and overhead press and the big four compound movements are functional training, because those are movements that apply to your life. Grabbing a heavy box that's up in your closet, bending down and picking something up, picking your kids up, squatting down and picking your kids up. All of these things are things that we need to consider. I love Peter Attia's idea of the centenarian Olympics, where he looks at how he wants to be able to function when he's 100 years old and kind of works backwards from that. So say at 100 years old, he wants to be able to pick up his great-grandchild or something like that, right? What do I need to do when I'm 80, 70, 60 to be able to ensure that I'm able to achieve that, right? So functional movement, being able to get up off the ground with as few limbs as possible, that's been proven to be indicative of health and longevity, right? The other thing to consider, and a lot of people do this too, is they don't separate their cardio and strength training days. So they literally will do cardio for an hour and then lift weights for an hour, and you're literally sending two different signals to your body. Doing chronic cardio sends a signal to your body to pare down muscle and to be more efficient at endurance sports, okay? And strength training is the opposite. It sends a signal to an anabolic signal to build muscle and build strength, you know? And those two don't go hand in hand, unfortunately. Like, I think there is a good middle ground, but at the very least, if you're like gung-ho on doing cardio, you need to separate them. I think I really believe that you need to separate them into different days. This whole idea of like beating yourself up in the gym and like sweating profusely, or again, I've seen trainers like where their goal is to like make their clients get sick and like there's just this like idea that we need to feel no pain, no gain. That's what it is. This no pain, no gain mentality is complete bullshit, okay? 100%. For a lot of people, working to failure works for them, but for a lot of people it doesn't. And I would say for the majority it doesn't. I like the idea of leaving 2 in the tank, you know, on any set that you do. I mean, by no means am I like the epitome of like physical health. I don't really have a six-pack anymore. I'm not like jacked, but I'm not trying to be, man. Like, I feel great. I have great energy levels. My skin is better. My hair is better. Like, I used to have my hair used to fall out, man. Like, I'm obviously really passionate about this, and like I really just want to see people succeed. And it requires a shift in thinking. We don't need to be focusing on chronic cardio. I really do think, and then we don't need to be hitting the gym for 5 days a week either. You know, like this is why I'm such a big supporter of home workouts. Like, you get some dumbbells or a good barbell with a couple different sizes of weights and like a pull-up bar, you're pretty set, man. Like, I mean, a squat rack I think would be great, and like an adjustable bench. There's really only a few pieces of equipment that you need in order to be able to efficiently work out every muscle group in your body. I am at the point now where I'm tracking calories as of this past week or so, because I really kind of want to see what I can achieve. It's been a long time since I've done that, and I know so much more about biology and physiology now than I did like 5 years ago, back when I ever tracked before. So this is just kind of a personal challenge to myself. So that's basically what I wanted to say. Consider strength training. Consider cutting down or ditching cardio altogether unless you have specific goals that entail you to be able to run fast, especially if you're really stressed out. I mean, it's been shown if you train for over 45 minutes, the law of diminishing returns comes into play. Cortisol rises, and cortisol is a catabolic hormone. You're paring down muscle tissue. It's just counterintuitive. I think I've said enough. I think I've hopefully got my point across. You don't need to beat yourself up. Enjoy those rest periods between sets. I think HIIT training is potentially a little bit overdone. This goes back to the video I made about stress. But yeah, I think I've kind of rambled on this one. Hopefully I got my point across, and as always, I appreciate it, guys. Looking forward to any feedback that you have. I hope this has provided value for you, and thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day.